What's good, everybody? I'm going to show you guys how to do the same thing with the MPC Key 37 and all MPCs, how to link them with Ableton. Now, there is a limitation on the Key 37. We do not have Ableton Live Control, but we do have Ableton Link. So I'm going to give you guys 3 ways to get the MPC and Ableton Live to talk to one another.
That's Hunter.
All right, guys, so this is going to require 3 cables once again. The first 2 cables are going to be 2 1/4-inch cables, and you're going to go out of the main out of your MPC into the input of your interface. So I want to show you guys this. So in Ableton, you could do Command comma and go to audio, and you can see here that I have the Scarlett 18i8, and I have the MPC going into channels 1 and 2. Now we can pull up an audio track. I already have one, but we can do this together. So we're going to do Command T, and we are going to get our inputs here. So we're going to do inputs 1 and 2. Now what I like to do is put this on the end, the monitor end. It's going to turn blue, and now it's listening for the MPC. So when we come over here to the MPC Key 37, we see that we have signal. This allows us to record into Ableton. So if I wanted to record a clip really quickly, so if I record enabled this, and we can record a clip. All right, now we can launch this clip by changing it from in to auto. And there we go. Perfect. Now we could take the same concept and do this in the arrangement view. We were in session view earlier, and now we can record into Ableton from the MPC. Now we have another track enabled here. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. That's our MIDI track. But if we focus here on the audio track, we can see here that we have the audios. Check it out. Now, let's say you were recording something in Ableton and you wanted to use a plugin from the MPC. You can 100% do that. This time, I'm going to pull up a sound here, and we're going to get a new track. And this is going to be a plugin track. Perfect. Now we have the hype. I like to use the bass in here because it's really dope. We'll do the MIDI. We can go to bass and more zap time. So now we can record more zap time into Ableton. So here we go. Perfect, and now we have the MIDI audio coming into Ableton. Now what I encourage you to do is to gain stage. Now for my setup, I have a mixer first. The MPC is going into my mixer and out of the mixer into my interface. So you just want to make sure that you gain stage even if you don't have a mixer, and you just go out of your MPC into your interface. Make sure you gain stage from the input volume of your interface and from the master volume coming out of your MPC, and find that balance. Now we're going to use Ableton as a sound module. We'll go to the channel we already had. I'm going to put this on in, and I'm going to name this channel MPC. So what we're going to do is hit Command R, and that's going to give us the option to rename it. And we're just going to type MPC Key 37. We're going to leave this on in because we're going to monitor through Ableton. All right. So what we're going to do next is we're going to get a MIDI track. So let's start with the MPC first, and let's just get a groove. Now, we're going to add some keys on top of this from Ableton. So what we're going to do here is load up our keys track. So we have Keyscape over here. This is a MIDI track. Now what we're going to do here is record, enable this, bam. And we're going to go back to our MPC now, and we're going to pull up a MIDI track. Now I've already done it, but I'm going to show you guys how to do this in real time. So let's do a new track, and then we're going to select MIDI. Perfect. Now what we're going to do is get the through port, which is going to be our USB port 1. Now we should have sound. Perfect. Now, the third cable that I mentioned earlier is going to be your USB 2.0 cable. You're going to go out of your USB, and then you're going to go into the USB port of your computer. Now that we have all that set up, we can actually record the MIDI signal and use Ableton as a sound module. So let me show you. There we go. So what we can also do is we're going to add a bass from Ableton. And by the way, the drums that I use is my chill hop kits, and the bass that I'm getting ready to use is also from the chill hop kits. I'll leave that tag below. So we're going to do a new MIDI track. So we're going to come over here to track. We're going to do MIDI. And then this time we're going to do MIDI channel 2. Perfect. Now we're going to come over here to the bass track, and right now it's set to all channels. We're going to change this to MIDI channel 2. So this is only going to receive MIDI from that channel. So when we play it, we're not triggering the bass track, it's separate. Perfect. Now we're going to change that MIDI channel from the keys track. We are going to change this to MIDI channel 1. So now we won't have any interference between the two MIDI tracks. See? Perfect. Let's go ahead and record it. Perfect. Now that we have that, let's talk about Ableton Link. Now this is going to link both of these sequencers together. So let's set this up real quickly. So we're going to hit menu, and then we're going to come up to here where it says sync, and then we're going to turn our dial here to Ableton Link. Perfect. Now we can just go back to main, and then we're going to come in here to Ableton, and we're also going to hit link. Now what this does is this links these sequencers together. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this isn't the same as Ableton Control, Ableton Live Control like you would in the Live 2. But what it does do is it allows you to accomplish this same thing by linking the sequencers together. So now whatever I do on the MPC, it's going to happen in Ableton. Check this out. Let's say we have what we just recorded, right? We can go ahead and change the tempo to, let's say, 100, just for an exaggeration. Now you see in Ableton, the tempo also changed in Ableton, and the other way around. We can come over here into Ableton and we can change the tempo back to 90, and we can look on the MPC, and now we're back to 90. So what we can do here is have some fun. I typically like to do it in session view because we can launch clips and sort of build ideas spontaneously, if you will. So check this out. Perfect. Now we're gonna go to USB port 1 that we set up for the keys. And we can record some into Ableton. Here we go. See, linked together. Now we can go to the bass track. Let's record it. Here we go. Perfect. Now we can launch it. Check it out. See, now we're in both. Fix the loop points. And you can continue to build. Now, you're not limited to doing this in session view. You can 100% do this in the arrangement view as well and just record the MIDI into the tracks. All right, same exact thing. Whatever floats your boat. I typically like to do this type of stuff. It's a bit easier in session view because I can automatically loop it by just hitting the record button to loop it just in time. So if you guys want to know more about how to use session view, I have a video tag somewhere up here for you guys. So we have one last thing to cover, and this is going to be integrating the MPC software with Ableton. Now, I did the same thing in Logic, and I'll leave that in the description below. All right, now we're going to start blank here. So we're going to load up the MPC plugin as a MIDI track. So how you can do that is do Shift Command T. That's going to be your shortcut for a new MIDI track. I already have one here, so we're going to use this. What you can do is come over here to your plugins, and you come over here to AKAI Professional, and then we're going to use the VST. Okay, perfect. Now that we have this up and running, we need to put our MPC into the controller mode. Right now we're in standalone. So what we're going to do is hit this menu button, and then we're going to come over here to this icon right over here. Bam. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this in controller mode. So I hit don't save. It's looking for the computer. And bam, we are now synced up. Now, at the time of recording this video, I am currently using the 2.0 desktop software, and this is pairing with that. So we're no longer on 3.0 currently until everything is officially updated. So if you're watching this after the fact, then it's probably already updated and this is null and void. And I'll have a 3.0 MPC update video available for you guys. So now we're going to come into the MPC software. Then we're going to go to edit, and then we're going to go to preferences. Then we're going to go to hardware. So I have this set up to record in overdub set to the MPC plugin. This way we can continue to use the MPC as our source to record and overdub more things instead of relying on the Ableton sequencer. So I set it to that. Now, if you want to use Ableton to host the control, by all means, you can do that. So I'm going to set it to MPC, and then I'm going to hit OK. So now we can start to record into the MPC software while Ableton is running in the background. Now, just like in the Logic Pro video, you will need to have Ableton playing in the background so you can use the overdub button. So we're going to go ahead and set up a loop here in Ableton. So we got a 4-bar loop. We can play that. And now we can go back to the MPC software. And if we hit record overdub, now you see we're ready to record. So let's record a little groove in here. Let's record that. We're going to keep going. I'm going to do another plug-in. Now we want to get what we did from the MPC software into Ableton. Now this is really simple to do, but it's just a few steps. Let's get right into it. The first thing we want to do is get a few audio tracks here. So we're going to do Command T. Boom. There's one audio track. That's going to be our kick. This is going to be our snare. Doing Command T again for another audio track. Hi-hat, bass, and Rhodes. That's the method behind the madness of having these additional audio tracks. Perfect. So what we're going to do here is change the output of the MPC. So we're going to do external out. Bam. Now what we need to do is go into the MPC software and set up our multi outputs to correspond with these audio tracks. So what we're going to do is start with the drums. Perfect. Now what we want to do is go into our mixer of the drums. And so I did that by just hitting on the mixer twice. So come over here and do mixer, tap that twice, and now we're in the mixer of our drum program. So what we can do is go into all the pads that we used so we can play it actually. Let's do that. So these two here are both kicks. So what we're going to do is change that output. Okay, so we're going to change both kicks to outputs 3 and 4. Now let's look for that rim. All right, that's going to be 5 and 6. Okay, then we have the hi-hats. These are going to be 7 and 8. Output 7 and 8. Both hi-hats are going to the same place, so we can group them together. All right, so 7 and 8. Perfect. Now the next thing we need to get is that bass track. So we're going to come over here to track 2, and we're going to go into the mix of that bass. So we could do the bass now to 9 and 10, and then we can do the Rhodes to 11 and 12. Perfect. Now that we have all this routed, we can go into the tracks that we have set up here and correspond them. So what we need to do with these audio tracks is we need to change these to MPC. All of these, we got to change them all to MPC. Okay, so once we change all these to MPC here for the external in, we're going to change those from external in to MPC. Perfect. Now what we can do is get the corresponding outputs. So this is going to be 3 and 4. You see that? Next, we're going to do 5 and 6. This is going to be 7 and 8. This is going to be 9 and 10, and this is going to be 11 and 12. And we can actually record, enable all of these to listen. And so we're going to change these all to auto. So now that we have these all on auto and record enabled, we can start to label these. So this could be our kick. This is going to be our rim, hi-hat, and bass, and Rhodes. Perfect. Now what we can do is record this into Ableton or resample it in. So we're going to go ahead and record all of these simultaneously. Here we go. Excellent. So now that we have it, if you guys got any value from this video, give your boy a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on those bell notifications so you won't miss anything else from the channel. And I'll holler at you guys on the next one. Love and appreciate you.